Well, I thought I'd do another motorized bike review since I'm at about the 1,000-mile mark now on this bike in this setup. So I've been pretty impressed. At this point, I'm still on the stock equipment, even the spark plug. I haven't had to replace a single thing. I'm even running the stock spring. So I'm pretty amazed, but I think I do more than the average person to keep them together. Some of the stuff that I do, like physically to the motor, is I make sure I take this cover off every 2 or 3 rides and put a little bit of grease on the gears. Now that's pretty important because those gears are metal on metal. So, and I found that that quiets them down a ton, which is originally why I started doing it. But B, they seem like they've held up pretty good. Now I don't put too much on because if you put too much on, that'll get into your clutch and cause problems. I would imagine. I've never done it, but I can imagine that'd be pretty easy to do. Also, along with, I have rubber mounts on everything. You can kind of see it there. And I double nut everything. That rubber mount's kind of jank looking, but anyway, the double nutting and all that, it's really helped it to run a lot smoother. And I've really been able to, you can really tell a difference if you have rubber mounts. That's all I have to say. And this is just some old garden hose I cut up. So, I mean, rubbers and garden hose is actually pretty sturdy material, so that's what I used on mine. Along with, on my coil, I have rubber on that too. I don't really know why I have rubber on my gas tank. I just did it, I guess. But electronic components, the first thing, like on my old hot rods here, the first thing that'll go wrong is a coil or whatever this is on these bikes. Because from vibration. Vibration kills electronic parts, so I definitely make sure you have some rubber on that. My head bolts, I tighten those up pretty often because it seems when you ride they vibrate loose. Anyway, so I keep those real good and tight. And you want to do it evenly because this is real thin and you'll warp it, and that's the one thing I have had to do. I took it off. My head gasket was fine, but I had to go across and file it because it got warped. So, because I tightened these down wrong, and then I kept popping out the head gasket. You can see it right there. So I haven't had a problem since I did that. So that's about my one repair that I've had to do. My chain, I always keep my chain lubricated. I just use some stuff from Walmart. It's called like White Lightning or something, and it's designed for dusty conditions, it said, so I thought, that's pretty good. So anyway, it's held up pretty good. I have taken my chain off once, and I took some carburetor cleaner and cleaned all the dirt off the chain, and just one time though I did that. The biggest problem I've really had with motorized bikes is, well, like for instance, this one has really skinny tires, but it's the wheels and tires. Now obviously you have to stay on top of your brakes, but you just beat your wheels and tires to death. It's inner tubes has been my biggest expense. I probably got $15 in replacing inner tubes. And this is a new tire here on the back. So you want to stay on top of your air pressure, and you want to make sure your tires are mounted up real good. I actually blew my front tire out going around a corner at like 15 miles an hour, and I don't know how I came out of it without wiping out, but it was pretty ugly. So you always want to wear your safety equipment. But another thing I want to address that's not so much a physical thing is, I don't know if it's just my bike the way I have it set up, because I'm pretty good with carburetors and whatnot, but this is about, see, here's at a stop. This is about how much throttle I have to give my engine to go down the road at about 20, 25 miles an hour. 25 is a little bit more, but not much. And I attribute a lot of that to the boost bottle, because before I ran that, the boost bottle on there, I really had to use a lot more throttle. And actually, ever since I've ran that, if you can see, my carb nut is all the way down, and that's partially attributed to that your carburetor slide over time, which I got 1,000 miles now, it'll wear out. So obviously it's letting some air through, but I got that thing all the way closed off, and I just barely use the throttle to go, barely, and it seems to run really well. But with a boost bottle, you know, you can't knock it till you try it. They're only like, what, 30 bucks? So I've had pretty good results with that. But really, you want to not use too much throttle on your bike is what I'm getting at here, because, you know, your fuel is used to lubricate your crankcase. So the more you're into the throttle, the less lubrication really that's down there. And people who run it wide open throttle, that's just a death wish for your engine. So I want to make a note of that. The easiest way to make your bike last the longest is to, you know, the less amount of throttle you can use, and a lot of that's attributed to carburetor setup. 99% of people out there don't have their set up right, and they got to use a lot of fuels. They got it running too rich, or they got to open their throttle way open because they just have an improper adjustment. So anyway, all in all, and I've always had my chain in pretty good alignment here, where I've never had problems with that. I really like the wide chains, which I believe with the Skyhawk bikes, you can't have a wide chain, so I just kind of decided to give those the middle finger. Never went with one of those. So, 1,000 miles. There you have it. I'm pretty impressed with it. So, and I bought mine. My seller was Motor 99 Motor off eBay. I don't know. I just bought it just for whatever reason. I've never really seen. I don't really follow sellers, but that's who I bought mine from, and it must be a good kit because, like I said, 1,000 miles. I have built several motorized bikes, and there are two different kits, and they're pretty distinguishable because they'll have the ones that are bad that you never want to buy have an orange kill switch. This one's yellow. And on those kits that suck, they don't have a clutch that operates like this. It's a push button on top, and it has a silver handle. You want to stay away from those. I've had pretty bad luck with the one that I built that was like that. I did not like it as much as this one. So anyway, I think that's all the information I can give you. So best of luck to you. Today I wanted to do a video on my son of a gun. And I always like to have rubber in between my coil and my frame, because what really kills off electrical components is vibration. So, mother of God.